This is Utter Radio.
Welcome to Underground FM. Coming up on today's show, we've got many interviews with Billy Whistle, Jack Charlesworth, a member from the Mock Turtles, and a sitar-playing musician.
Joe, what is a sitar?
Well, if you listen in, Max, you'll be able to find out later in the show.
Also, we have a live interview with a member from the boy band Voltage and a musical quiz. Joe, I think I'm going to smash it today.
I don't think you beat me because I think my musical knowledge is actually better than you, Max.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out.
But first, we're going to kick it off with our first interview with a Mr. Billy Whistle, which my co-host, Max Day, did an interview with.
Today, I'm here with Billy Whistle, who has been in the music industry in a semi-professional capacity getting on for 50 years. Billy, what advice would you give to upcoming artists?
I think the one piece of advice that I can give to artists who are starting out today is to do as much as you possibly can yourself. There's so much you can now do from your own house, if you like, but there are certain things that you need to be able to do and understand that will really help you make a better job of it than we did back in the 80s. And I think the first thing is marketing. You have to get your name out there, you have to get product out there. And to do that, you just need to understand a few things.
How are things different now to back when you started?
Totally different. When we started, we still had cassette tapes, and you couldn't really make a decent recording in your garage or your bedroom. You actually had to go into a studio. To go into a studio, you had to have money. I remember the first demo recordings that we did cost us like £400, and this is like 1978. To do that in a studio now is just completely pointless because everything you can do in your bedroom, you can use Logic, you can even use your telephone to record stuff that you do. Lots of people do it directly onto YouTube. So that aspect of it, utterly different. The other thing is that you used to have to get a record contract to be able to release any product. And now you can pay like £5 for a song and a company will actually place it on iTunes, on Spotify, Deezer, whichever of those streaming platforms you like. So it's incredibly easy to do that now, but you have to go through a process and understand what that process is.
Have you got anything currently out there right now?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Max, because last night we decided to actually publish 4 of the tunes that we recorded recently on Spotify. Just search for Dodgy Jack, you'll find us.
Have you ever been in a band with someone who has made it?
Well, yeah. There was a guy that we played with in a soul band back in the mid-80s, a guy called Alex Gifford. He went on to work with Peter Gabriel at the Real World Studios in Box as an engineer, and then went on to form a band called the Propellerheads. And their first album, pretty much every single track got used in some kind of media, either for adverts or for trailers on TV or actually in films. He made an enormous amount of money out of that. So he's famous in his own way. But they also formed a band in the mid-80s with a guy called Mark Bailey. And Mark was kind of doing his A-levels. He actually left the band. Well, they fired me first, but that's another story. And he went on, moved to London and became a really, really famous comedian. But of course he changed his name to Bill Bailey. He's a lovely man. We still keep in touch, although not very much.
Thanks, Billy. Great story. But have you got any evidence?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We were on Graham Norton. Well, when I say we, Bill was on Graham Norton and he showed a photograph of us in the band. It was a black and white photograph that was taken by a guy called Bob Draper, if I remember right, in Dave's basement. And Bill was talking about how he had been in bands in the 80s. This was one of them. We looked terrible.
Billy, thank you very much. Fascinating stuff. And remember, Billy's new material is out now on all good streaming platforms. Just search for Dodgy Jack.
Listening to that interview there, it made me realise how difficult it must be to break into the music industry. Like, it must be so hard.
It must be. You know, I really don't think I have the voice for it, Joe.
No, not at all.
Anyway, now we're going over to Joe Grant, who spoke with an upcoming and independent musician, Jack Charlesworth, where we hear him talk about what it's like to find a break into the music industry and release music at such a young age.
Today I'm joined by up-and-coming musician Jack Charlesworth. So, Jack, can you tell me, how does it feel releasing your first couple songs?
Oh, nervous, man. It's nervous because I feel like everyone's like always afraid to get like judged. I don't know. I feel like it's something I've always struggled with as well, like just feeling a bit self-conscious. You know, like you're always like, oh yeah, what are people gonna think and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm really happy with how everything's went, I guess.
So obviously you've released some new songs at the minute. You had one come out last month. Are you happy with the reaction of that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I had a massive party, little celebration. Everyone came down to the flat. Yeah, no, we just had a good time with it. I think people responded well to it. It's like, you know, it's not groundbreaking, but it's a nice little tune.
So Jack, do you have any musical inspirations or idols?
Yeah, 100%. Like it depends from like all aspects. I started learning piano because of Tom Odell, if you know him. He's quite a yeah, he's a very, very talented musician. He started when he was like 17. Like I know I'm not 17, I'm 19 now, but similar sort of time when we started making music. So mainly him, neo soul artists like Tom Misch, Pip Millett, stuff like that. Yeah.
What would you say your style of music is?
That's a hard one. I feel like I combine like a lot of different styles. If you were to like categorize it, it'd probably be like alternative pop. You got some jazzy chord progressions. You got it's just the Jack Charles song. Really, you just got to listen to it and find out, I guess.
And then finally, Jack, I want to know, what is the dream?
Just to not work a desk job and have fun, you know, like just chill, I guess.
Is a desk job your worst nightmare? Would you rather be on stage?
It is my absolute worst. A 9-to-5 desk job. I would absolutely hate that when I'm just not being creative. Like props to the people who can do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm useless. I can't hack it. You know.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jack. Cheers. What I found when talking to Jack is that he's a very humble human being and that he won't really admit how good he is. But he is brilliant. I think he's got great style and he's got such confidence to release the music at such a young age.
Yeah, I think that's definitely helpful because I feel like it's so hard to make it in the music industry, especially at such a young age. But I feel like being on the radio will definitely help.
Yeah, he's definitely got his own style and his own thing, but it's brilliant, yeah. So next we're going to go to Martin Coogan, who's a former member of the Mock Turtles, and he agreed to speak to Jamie Coogan to talk about why he decided to own his own recording studio.
That's an interesting question. I've been in a band myself called the Mock Turtles back in the sort of early 90s. And so I've done TV, I've done the frontman thing, I've done all the gigs and toured relentlessly, all that kind of thing. But I always was fascinated by this recording process, by being in the studio, and given the choice between performing live and working in the studio recording, I much preferred being in the studio. One day, a couple of coincidences came, serendipity happened for me, whereby I got quite a lucrative contract with Vodafone. They used some of my music for a worldwide advert, which generated a sum of money. And at the same time, this studio came up for sale in Manchester that used to belong to New Order. And it had a lot of history. You know, the Stone Roses had worked there, the Happy Mondays had worked there, Spiral Carpets, the Mock Turtles had even worked there. You know, in the past we'd done the odd demo and stuff and rehearsed there. And so this studio came up for sale, and I had a bunch of money in my back pocket, so it made sense for me to buy the studio, and not, have some investment, but also start working in the industry.
Firstly, I think we need to talk about how we managed to get an interview with a member of a band worth 136.3 million.
million.
I think we need a round of applause for that. That's fantastic.
That is
Well done,
crazy.
guys.
Joe, did you know that they're best known for their 1991 song "Can You Dig It"?
I did know that. I do think that song is somewhere in one of my many playlists.
We've got a fan
I
in
know,
the building.
I know.
Anyway, now to the news with Jamie.
Actor Nkuti Gawata will take over from Jodie Whittaker as the star of Doctor Who, the BBC has announced. The 29-year-old will become the 14th incarnation of the Time Lord on the popular science fiction show, the first person of colour to play the lead role. The Scottish actor Gawata, who was born in Rwanda, is best known for a starring sex education sitcom on Netflix. He told BBC News, "It feels really amazing. It's a true honour, and this role is an institution, and it's so iconic." Around 60 people were killed after a bomb hit in East Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said earlier that the governor of the Luhansk region, Serhiy Haddadi, that said that 90 people had sheltering from the building in Bovankra. Around 30 were rescued. Mr. Hahadi has said that the Russian plane had been dropping bombs this Saturday, and Russia has not commented. Luhansk has been in the fierce combat between Russian troops and separatist fighters and seek to surrender to government forces. Actor Dennis Walterman, known for his roles in the TV show Minder Sweeney News Tricks, has died at age 47. A family statement: "We are deeply saddened to announce that our beloved Dennis has passed away very peacefully in a hospital in Spain. He died on Sunday afternoon with his wife Pam at his side," and the family has added, "The family kindly asks for our privacy and respect at this very difficult time."
Now, before we listen to another interview about a musician playing a traditional Iranian instrument, and we have a live interview by a boy band member, we're going to have a fun little quiz.
Ooh, I'm excited, Joe.
So, Jamie, what have you got for us?
Well, so we've got a 5-part quiz. First person to answer on either one of you will get the point.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm
You-
ready.
you
Ready.
Right.
Ready?
And last thing, it's general music trivia.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So, question 1. What song by the Beatles was the first to hit number 1 on the singles chart?
I'm going to go with Let It Be. Oh, no.
Sorry, Max?
I'm going to go with Yellow Submarine.
Oh, so you've got... Oh, I've got it wrong.
Both wrong. Right, I'm very sorry to say it. I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Oh, should have got that.
Should have
So,
got that.
question 2. What band performed the cover of One Way or Another in 2013 with a cameo from then Prime Minister David Cameron?
I do believe it was the One Direction Boys. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he's got it!
Because I remember the music video. I do.
Yeah, he looked very awkward in that one. In question 3, what was the other name of David Bowie? What was his stage persona?
Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, it was
And
as
he
well.
is correct.
Got it.
No.
Tricky one. Question 4. What age was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart when he supposedly composed his first song?
He's got to be young.
Yeah.
I'm saying like young. I'm saying like 12 years old. I'm going to go with 12.
Incorrect.
Definitely
Okay,
younger.
I reckon he was younger.
you
I'm
think?
going with 9.
9. Oh, that's young.
I'm
Oh,
really
it's gotta be
sorry,
older.
both of you. It was actually 5 years old.
5?
And it was supposedly Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I couldn't even walk when I was 5.
Right,
Blimey.
well, question 5. So, finally, which band's songs include Believer and Radioactive?
One of my favourites. It's got to be the Imagine Dragons.
Oh,
Yes!
He's correct.
He's right! He's done it!
That means the winner is Joe.
Oh, my knowledge is just too superior. I'm sorry, Max. I'm sorry. So now we're going to go to a bit of a different interview coming up with Asma Abad. We had Vahid Shavandi, who moved from Iran to the UK about three years ago. He's a musician working at the Sahab Music Academy, here to talk about the traditional Iranian instrument called the sitar.
Hello, my name is Asma. Today I'm with Wahid. Wahid is playing sitar. Hi, Wahid.
Hi, good morning.
Could you please explain more about your
Of course,
instrument?
actually, I'm playing sitar, which is a Persian traditional musical instrument. It's sort of in family of guitar because it has a string,
When did you start playing this instrument?
Well, I started playing sitar when I was 8 or 9. One day, my uncle came to me and told, I want to teach you sitar. I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do this. So we started practicing together, and after a while, he realized that I'm talented in it. So we decided to pursue playing sitar with one of his masters.
Do you teach to other people this instrument?
Yeah, I started teaching tar and sitar back in Iran when I was, I think, 23 years old, and I continue teaching that, and I still teach at Sahba Music Academy, which is a place for Iranians comes gathered to learn about culture and music.
Do you prefer any age to teach them, like younger people?
No, actually, there's no preference for me, but ideally it is better to start at age of 7, 8 or 9, because in that age, capability of a person is okay to start playing sitar, because his hands is okay, it's not a small,
Yeah.
it's not big, it's okay to start playing, yeah.
Can you play your instrument for us?
Yeah, sure.
Wow. You know, I'm going to say it sounds very similar to a ukulele.
It does. I've never heard that instrument before. It's a bit like a ukulele, a bit silky, a bit like the man's voice. Very,
I'd
very
have to
nice.
agree.
It's a shame that we never get taught about that in like British schools.
It
at all,
really
do we?
is. I remember in primary school we used to do the little flutes,
Yeah.
but I think that's about
Is
it,
that really?
really. And to end our show today, we have a phone-in interview with a member from the boy band Voltage. Paddy, are you on the line?
Yes, hello.
Hello, Paddy. You are live on Underground FM. Welcome to the show. We understand you are a member of Voltage and would like to take this opportunity to ask you a few questions about your band. So first of all, we've got you today, but how many are in Voltage and how did you all meet each other?
So there was 4 of us, but now there's 3 as of last week. And we met each other just through our manager. Our manager put us together.
That sounds great, Paddy. Whose idea was it to start the band? So was it just like a group idea, or did you was it one by one you kind of joined?
It was one by one, really. I think Jay joined first, and then it was me and the other third member, Mikey. We joined later on.
Okay, can you tell the listeners about your first show?
So in our first show, it was in Glasgow, in front of about 50 people. It was pretty bad, to be honest. We just stood still, and it was like karaoke. Yeah, it worked great, but we're a lot better now.
It must have felt quite good, though, to get up on stage and sing a song with people watching you. Like, even if your first one didn't go great, you still might have got like a great feeling from it.
It was a good feeling. It was good to finally sing together as a band, because I'd only previously sung on my own. We got quite a few fans from that, so followers, supporters, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I'm sure I see you do a few gigs in Manchester as well, so you do the odd one here and there. What's been your favourite kind of place to perform in Manchester?
I performed at the Factory nightclub before, obviously not at night.
I bet that was
but
good.
An actual gig. Yeah, that was good. I think one time there was about 200 people there. And then I've also performed at the, Academy 3. That's probably the best one I've done.
Okay, what would you say is your biggest achievement with Voltage?
Probably last weekend we performed in front of about 3,000, 4,000 people supporting the band Blue. I don't know if you know them. They're an old boy band.
Yeah, no, we know Blue, yeah.
Anyway, thank you for speaking with us today, Paddy.
Right, thank you very much for having me.
That's been Paddy Wild from Voltage with us today.
Well, we've had a blast hosting for you guys today. It's been brilliant. So make sure you tune in again on Utter Radio at 2:14 next week, where we have plenty more interviews and underground artists to bring you. Goodbye.
This is Utter Radio.